Okey-doke. Hello, welcome everybody to our Tutorial Tuesday. For today, it is October 10th, and we are talking today about everyone's favorite subject when it comes down to it, at least. Even if you don't like email, it is the number one thing that marketers and copywriters ask me to teach them to do. There are so many things you can do with email and a few things you can get wrong. So we're going to spend some time today talking about how to make your blast emails, your broadcast emails, appear to be a little bit more one-to-one, right? So how do you make marketing not look like marketing? That's what we'll be talking about today. I'm Jo from Copyhackers. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to our channel. We do Tutorial Tuesdays almost every Tuesday, unless I am away for work, which I was away last week. Yeah, last week I was away. So here we are. I am sharing my screen. We're going to talk through how to make your blast email, broadcast email, marketing email, whatever you want to call it, look more one-on-one. And this works best with customers or with warm leads that know you a little bit, that have heard from you once or twice before. It doesn't only work for that. I've been on the receiving end of some marketing emails that came from people I'd never heard from that sound, as I just forgot I was subscribed to their list, and that really did sound one-to-one. So I just want to let you know before we dive in here that I'm going to be showing you how to set these up in your CRM. I use ActiveCampaign. That's what we use here at Copyhackers. I'm going to show you how to do this in ActiveCampaign. You'll need to modify the tutorial to fit your CRM or email marketing platform, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's start out with a pop quiz. And it's really, really simple and you don't have to answer. I'm just going to fly through these. But as you're watching, just answer to yourself or feel free to put it into chat here on YouTube. Or into the comments. Is this a blast email? Or is it one-to-one? Is this a marketing email or is it the kind of email that your boss would send you? Just looking at it. Does it give off signals of blast email or one-to-one? Now, how about this one? Does this look like an email your coworker sent you, or does it look like a marketing email? And this one, does this look like an email your boss sent you, your CEO sent you, or does it look more one-to-one? Now, this is what we're trying to play with in order to begin not looking like marketing. We want to look more and more like the trusted source that we are aiming to be as marketers, rather than some distant, no reply email address kind of situation. So what makes an email look like it's being blasted? What makes an email look like 10,000, 100,000, a million people are receiving it, and thus it's not maybe relevant to me? What are those signals? We need to work against those signals where possible. Something that's being blasted is more likely to be ignorable. So what are we doing wrong with our marketing emails? Now, these are the two that look most like they're being blasted. And Mike is my silent co-host here. Mike has not told me there's any tech problems or any slide problems. So hopefully that's true. I am having a contact lens problem, which is just glorious. Okay, what's going on with these two? Like, why do these look like marketing emails? What's happening? Side by side, let's look. Okay, the text is left aligned, which is great. Sometimes it's centered, which is a big problem. But in this case, this text is left aligned. However, it is centered in the middle of the screen. So it's not left aligned like an email that you send from Outlook or Gmail is. The font is not builder grade. It looks like it's designed, right? There's something about this that looks not like it was written by somebody I know, but it was written for a lot of people that have like a branded template, and that's a problem. The width of the text is narrow. It's about 600 pixels or whatever points wide. It might be 700, might be 800, but it doesn't go the full width of the screen. And the copy is kind of long, and that doesn't mean that short copy doesn't look like marketing. Don't take that the wrong way. But in this case, we can look at it and go like, it's formatted in such a way that it feels like I'm being drawn down the page. And I may get my backup about that as somebody who thought this was going to be a one-to-one email, an important email for me. And then I open it up and it's like, oh, it's marketing. And that's how you get maybe good opens because your subject line was good, but your body is giving off all sorts of signals that this is marketing. On the other hand, what makes an email look one-to-one or unignorable? So this is actually a blast email. This is a marketing email that we sent to a select group of our copy school students who met certain criteria for a new program we have called Copy School Professional. So it's only available to people who are in copy school and who are professional or career copywriters. So this email is what we're aiming for. And here's why. When you send an email like this, we got so many replies, as you can see, where these are all, they replied to me and then I replied back to them with the thing that they were asking for. And we're going to get into what the actual email was doing, but we're getting replies, not just clicks. A reply is a difficult thing to earn. So I reply to an email when it feels one-to-one. If I reply to an email that feels like marketing, it's usually to say, hey, stop emailing me, or hey, the link is broken in this email, or something like that. And that's not what's going on here. These were replies to the content of the email. Replies like, I'd like to learn more. Give me a link to the session. I'd love to learn more. Personal, hope your weekend was a good one. I look forward to the info session. And these are what we're getting back. Now that takes some effort. And when somebody sends that back to you, that is a person who is ready to hear more from you. That is a prospective customer. So this is where email can go. Email doesn't have to be this thing where you send this, you hit schedule on the email that's going out at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, and you hope that you get some clicks. You can do more with it. You can actually really engage, even if it feels, even if you think, well, I'm just in marketing. This is just marketing. Nobody on the receiving end of your email wants to feel marketed to. Now, there are times when we want to get a sale email. I want to get an email that says, hey, it's Black Friday and all of my favorite sweaters at Aritzia are on sale. I want that email. But that happens certain times. That doesn't happen all the time. Every email in my inbox right now, outside of the ones sent from people that I actually do know, like my coworkers or people in my network or whatever it might be, everything else is marketing. And they're working so hard to get me to click, when we can maybe do other things, not all the time, but sometimes, that feel one-to-one and get a really good moment of engagement like we got here. So what's going on to make an email that goes to hundreds of people in this case? So is hundreds, not thousands, not millions. Again, we had a specific list this was going to, and I'll tell you why that's important too. But what's going on here is the subject line is short, which is often the case. If you look through your inbox at emails from people at your organization or whatever it might be, your clients, these one-to-one, actual one-to-one emails, if the email subject line is really long, it's usually, that's the whole message. And it says like EOM at the end of it, end of message at the end of the subject line. Otherwise, it's going to be really short, like quick question or interview tomorrow, question mark, things like that. Really short. There's a baked in assumption. The font is standard, preloaded, builder grade, whatever you want to call it. Arial is really common in all of the email clients that receive, where you read your emails. Arial is quite standard. The text runs full screen width. It keeps going. It doesn't wrap until it wraps naturally at the end of the screen. The copy is short, and there are, again, these like baked in assumptions. There's a signature, a proper one that looks real, and there's no unsubscribe link. Now, that doesn't mean you're allowed to get rid of an unsubscribe link. It's a marketing email. It's going through ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, MailChimp, whatever the solution is that you're using. You still need the unsubscribe link. It's just, where did that thing go? Where is it? And you still need it to be visible. I'm not talking about making it white or anything. Now, the assumption that I mentioned 2 times on the last slide, hey, there are these like baked in assumptions. The assumption is a relationship exists. The assumption when you're writing a one-to-one email is, hey, I know this person, which means it's immediately one-to-one because I know you. I know your name. It helps if you do know their name. Now, you can get by writing a fake one-to-one email without having the first name in there, but you have to work a little bit harder. That first name does a lot of heavy lifting. Still achievable though. The assumption here is that we have connected before, even if it hasn't been in real life or with a one-to-one email back and forth. But I'm assuming when I send this email that we've connected in some way. And in this case, it's for copy school students. So I'm a copy school instructor. They are qualified, pre-qualified basically for copy school professionals. So they've engaged a lot with our courses. I know you know me is the idea. And that is why this works particularly well for existing customers, but it can also work for non-customers. It can work for trial users. It can work for people who have been on your list for a couple months or for a couple days. It works in a lot of different ways. This is just the example for the purposes of the tutorial. Okay, but you do have that baked in assumption when you are writing it. So what does a one-on-one email look like? Now, I hope Brennan doesn't mind this. I actually didn't get a chance to ask him if he's okay with this. I strongly doubt that he will be. Brennan Dunn is a friend of mine. We were just together at an event called Cabo Press, which was great last week. And he's got a book coming out next week. And he gave me a copy and he was like, hey, so great seeing you. Quick email. And then I reply with this, and then he replies with that. This is a standard way of emailing. This is how email works for most of us. This is what we're looking for. And this is what marketers need to be doing too. Look at the exchange. All of the baked-in assumptions, we know each other. I don't have to give a lot of preamble. I don't need to use problem, agitation, solution. I can just jump right in because we know each other. So writing copy that matches the medium, really, like old school, the medium is the message still applies. And that's what email can do and should do. The emails that you just saw are super short, and that's because we know each other. So your emails that are supposed to look like you know the person should also be pretty short, pretty much to the point in a friendly, we know each other, familiar kind of way. What else can we take from that exchange I just showed you? An email in Gmail looks a certain way. Now, there are different email clients, Outlook, your Apple phone, your Apple Mail, whatever it might be. They look different ways. Let's start by just looking at what Gmail looks like. Here's how to do that. So if you want to look at anything and kind of, I say spoof, but that sounds like dark hat, like black hat kind of stuff. But if you want to make something look native to the platform, you should, I hope is that anyway, apologies if use of native is in any way triggering, I apologize. But organic to it, I guess might be the thing. Point is, go to the thing that you are trying to spoof and install the What Font Chrome browser extension. It's really simple. It's called What Font. It's right there. What Font. It's a Chrome browser extension. It will help you identify this. You turn on What Font and you look at the thing itself that you're trying to identify what font it is, and it'll tell you exactly what you're seeing here. So in Gmail, we learned that it's 13 pixels is the height of the font, 20-point line height. The gray gives you the exact color of the gray. And we can also see when we look at the links, now there's no link in this one, but when you do link in like a work email, here's the color of the link. And yes, it's going to be underlined. Things like that. Now that we know that, we can go into our platform and tell it those things. We can say like, okay, instead of the default text color of 33333333, whatever, we're going to do 2s across the board. Instead of it being our branded Montserrat or Open Sans font at 16 points, which reads as marketing, we're going to bring it down to 13 and we're going to make it Arial. The text doesn't wrap unnaturally either, right? So it doesn't have that narrow column, which means we're not going to give it a narrow column. We're going to expand it up to over 1,000. So the actual setting that we go out with is 1,040. But these are the settings you go into. You go to global settings in Active Campaign. You left align the message. So you can see over here where there's the yellow box off to the side here. If you're watching on a small screen, watch it on a bigger screen. But there's message alignment. You can go left, right, middle. Now that's going to take the body block that you have and make it move left or right or to the middle. And they typically default to the middle for marketing messages, but we want it to look more one-to-one. So we're going to left align that, but because left aligned really butts up hard against the margin of the screen, like what you're actually reading on, it can be a little bit tricky. So we like to give about 10 points on that, on the padding down below, only on the left. That's it. Now you've got a space that can start to look a little more one-on-one, but a one-on-one email also includes a signature and it has no unsubscribe footer. So what do we do there? Here's a signature. Sometimes it's sent from my normal inbox when I'm typing in Gmail. Sometimes it's over on my phone and it says sent from my iPhone. It doesn't have to be sent from my iPhone for you to say sent from my iPhone in your reply. So what we want to do is add a block at the end of the email that looks just like your actual signature that you have, and then leave tons of white space below it so that you have to scroll to see the usual footer stuff. You still leave everything in there, but you have a nice big gap that your reader is unlikely to scroll down to unless they're ready to go unsubscribe, and then they'll do the quick thumb up the phone and your message will go flying by and they'll see the unsubscribe right there pretty easily. This is the part, the signature and a bunch of white space. That's what we do. You can create that white space in ActiveCampaign. Don't add a bunch of lines, a bunch of like containers. Just take one container and then drag the bottom of it down to increase the height of it to whatever point you want it to be increased to. Really straightforward, really easy thing to do. So this is the recap. I'm looking at time though, and I want to get into how to actually write that email. So I am not going to recap this. If you watch the replay, this is the screenshot that you'll want to take. If you're watching right now, it's a screenshot kind of moment. So go ahead and Command-Shift 4 or 3 or whatever. If you're on a Mac, I don't remember the things on a Mac, on a PC. But there you go. All right, I've given you enough time on the screen that I'm going to move on. How do you actually write it so it doesn't just look like a one-to-one email, but it also sounds like one? So we sent this email, again, as I said, to a few hundred select customers, and we got more than 35% of them replying, and those replies are still coming in. And I want, again, to note what a reply means. It means I had to open it, read it, go, oh, send me the link. Yeah, send me the link. Then I hit reply and I type out a message. In this case, it's 3 lines, 2 lines that were written with like their name at the end. And this is real work. This is important for pre-qualifying a person for this job. I see. Oh, we've got someone attending live in Zoom who just chatted over a question. Fantastic. We'll get to that just at the end. So now let's look at the actual email itself. So what's the subject line doing? CSP stands for Copy School Professional, which, to be fair, I've never told anybody about. What am I doing putting CSP in there? Naturally, you'd think, well, they don't know what it is. You can't do that. But there are these baked in assumptions when you're familiar with someone. You can kind of push things to like, it's just called CSP. They'll open it out of 1, a little bit of curiosity, but 2, inside they'll see that it's CSP, and we'll get to that opening line and how that works with the subject line. But first, we have personalization. So if you do have their first name, oftentimes when you're writing to a coworker, it's like, hey, Mike, can you do this for me? Hey, Mike, can you attend this meeting so I don't have to, whatever that might be. You do have that opening, hey. You don't have to have that. Sometimes when you're talking with someone you know very well, you don't use their name in the email. You just say, hey, fire that my way when you're done with it, or whatever that email exchange might be. But if you have the first name, it's really useful to put it in there. Again, adding to that sense of one-to-one. Have you given any thought to joining Copy School Professional? Again, I haven't even talked to anybody about this. This is the first time they're hearing about it, but I want them to think of, oh, wait, what? What's Copy School? I haven't even heard of this. Tell me more about it. And that's an important thing to get them to actually reply. Then I tell them what it is and I pre-qualify them. That's our new mentorship-based program for people in copy school who are professional or career copywriters. That means that I'm only going to get replies from people who are still in copy school in case they somehow got tagged in ActiveCampaign as copy schoolers, but they're not anymore, and who are professional career copywriters. Again, if we have tags or information about them that's wrong, then this will help them not reply. So we don't have that conversation. Let me know if you want to snag a spot in our October info session. I'll send you the link. There's no link in here. There's nothing to click outside of the support@copyhackers.com email address in the signature that I've got here. So I'm asking them, the CTA is hit reply. I didn't say hit reply with yes in all caps or anything, which you might say in a marketing email, or even sometimes in a one-to-one email, but it can feel a little bit like marketing, like I'm anticipating that you don't have time in your life for this offer. In this way, I'm saying I anticipate you do have time for this offer. This is an important offer, and you read this far, you're pre-qualified for it based on the criteria of the line before. Hit reply, I'll send you the link. And I never even said hit reply, just I'll send you the link. And then a little bit of the PS, like you might say to somebody who you're familiar with, but you haven't talked to in a while, like, hope you're having a good week. Hope your Thanksgiving was great. Shout out to the Canadians who just had Thanksgiving this weekend. Hope you're having a great Friday. I knew I was sending it on a Friday. Some people who are in Australia may have got it on the following day, but that's okay. A lot of people open emails the following day. Again, I'm still getting replies to this email a week and a half after sending it. So that is how we do it. For this to be effective, though, the recipient needs to be able to hit reply and hear back from you. So you can't send it from no reply at, which you hopefully are not doing anyway. And if it typically goes to your support team or to a sales team or something else, then it needs to be clear that if it's coming from you, joe@copyhackers.com, and they can't reply to that. They reply and it goes to sales@copyhackers.com. That's not a great experience. It should be going to you. And you can then say, cool, here's the link. I'm also going to bring Tony from my team in to answer any more questions you might have before we join that session. My dogs are barking like just wildness outside. Don't forget to test or preview your new layout in your inbox and across email clients. So make sure this is, again, in ActiveCampaign. You can hit a little button to test it. Email client preview, it's called. You spend $1, I think, for a credit, but it's worth it. So you can look across all the different spaces and see, does this look okay everywhere that I'm going to be sending it? Because I've modified the layout of it and you want to make sure you've done it right. That might take some tweaking. You might have to go back and forth and make little bits of tweaks. That's okay. That's what preview is for until you get it to the right place for you. Now, this is not about spoofing or tricking. This is about not looking like marketing, because good marketing doesn't actually look like marketing. The best marketing is word of mouth marketing, which is just a friend telling you, you should totally try this. Here's why I love it. That's the kind of thing that we want to do. We want to feel just more organic and less like you're just blasting an email to everybody. If you can swing it, you should do it. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. That is, I'm 2 minutes over time on my 20-minute guarantee. Oh, Tom Higgins. Oh, sorry, I said your last name. I hope that's okay, Tom. Your whole name shows there. Tom just chatted. Tom says, love this, Joanna. You didn't have my first name on the email promoting today's session, where I used everything I just talked about today. But the hey with, I think I had like a 4 Y's at the end of it, felt so conversational. It still worked without the first name. So that's a great tip, Tom, that you can make things look conversational in ways that, or like personal, even if you don't have their first name. Mike is chatting over some YouTube comments. So he's also filtering, so I only get the good ones. So we'll just see what he says. But yeah, if you have questions, throw them down. If you're watching this and it's not the live stream, you can still put questions in if you have them in the comments, and we'll go back and answer those later. Somebody Macro says, on the website, it says I can pay, I don't know what that means, via PayPal, when in reality you can't. I don't know what that means. If you mean on copyhackers.com, you're trying to like enroll in one of our courses. You can only, this is just now this has nothing to do with the topic, but I'll just answer your question, Makro. You can only do that if you're not paying in payment. So one time you can pay using PayPal if you just pay outright. But if you're looking for payment plans, then you can't use PayPal because it's not our favorite when it comes to subscription payments or recurring. Oh, Karen received this email that I just walked you through and never got the link. That's interesting. I'll go look through for your name, Karen. I see it's how it's spelled. So I'll take a look through my inbox because replies went directly to my inbox and see where that is. Yeah, there are ways to set this up. So it is an automation. You don't have to reply directly. But I feel like these are my customers. This is a good use of my time to reply directly in case they really do have questions. And I do want to be there to answer their questions for them. Okay, so keep that in mind before you turn it into an automation. You can, but make sure that you also, again, in ActiveCampaign, you can send a one-to-one email as an automation and you get alerted when that email goes out so that you can engage in the conversation. Point is, don't automate your way out of a really good one-to-one experience, especially if you've written and created an email that looks one-to-one. Follow through. You probably did it so that you would be able to engage your customers. So engage them. If it worked and they're replying to you, chat back with them, talk with them. It's worth it. It doesn't scale, but it's one of those good things that works for your business, even though it doesn't scale. Oh, Tom, another question. How do you decide when to use a one-to-one looking email versus a more designed promotion? Is there a right time for each different type? Yes. So don't overuse the one-to-one, but when you have, I would say, do you want to be able to engage? Do you go like when you're planning the email, are you like, it'd be really good to get notes or feedback from people on this, or I wish we had a way to like sell one-to-one in this case. Maybe you have an offer that's more high ticket, or there's more like conversation that has to happen before a person says yes to it. Your copy is your scalable online salesperson. However, sometimes you actually need an online salesperson. So if that's the case, you want people to hit reply and tell you something, then you should use the one-to-one. If you are doing like your newsletter or an email that clearly isn't one-to-one, or that will have the kind of thing that would have a button in it or a call to action that drives to a sales page, then you don't need this one-to-one thing. In this case, I wanted to personally invite people to our info session. I wanted to be available to answer any questions that they might have. And they had actually quite a few questions. And then that is going to help me put that info session together too, now that I know what they're wondering. Okay, Tom, thank you. Thank you everybody for attending our live stream. For those who are here with me on Zoom, thank you for attending here too. Every Tuesday, almost, we do Tutorial Tuesdays, so make sure you subscribe and sign up for our newsletter as well over on copyhackers.com, and you'll get notification of all of the things that we're doing. We are doing many, many things to help you learn how to turn visitors into customers and customers into really happy repeat customers. So check us out always and forever, copyhackers.com and here on YouTube. Thank you and have a wonderful Tuesday. Or if it's Wednesday where you are, have a great one of those too.